Good morning, everyone. Dear students, let's continue with the second poem of class plus 2, that is an elementary school classroom in a slum by Stephen Spender. About the poet, Stephen Spender was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College Oxford without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Socialist is one who works for socialism, and pacifist is one who advocates peace. Books by Spender include poems of dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography, World Within World. In an elementary school classroom in a slum, he has concentrated on the theme of social injustice and class inequality. Concentrated means focused. Continue. Far, far from gusty waves, the children's faces like rootless weeds. The hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with red eyes. Far, far means very far. Gusty waves means pleasant waves. By gusty waves, the poet means the beautiful sights of nature which are not visible in the slum. These children's faces, these children are the poor children who live in that slum area. Faces are like rootless weeds. Rootless weed is unwanted grass which is not looked after properly, which is not trimmed properly. In the same way, the hair torn round their pallor. Torn means spread. The hair of these children is spread round their pale face. Pallor means pale face, because they are undernourished. That is why, due to poverty, their faces are pale. The tall girl with her weighed down head. The tall girl's head has been weighed down by being burdened with sad thoughts about her misfortune, which is making her feel depressed. Paper seeming boy. Paper seeming boy is as thin as a paper, which suggests that hunger has left him deeply undernourished. His eyes are like that of a rat, which is scared, but which is anxiously looking for food. The stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room. Other than this, the boy who has a stunted growth with twisted bones, who is sitting in the slum school classroom, is the unlucky heir. Heir means successor. The stunted boy symbolizes the disability that he has inherited from his father, and he is reciting his lesson from his desk. A sweet young boy is sitting at the back of the dim class. Class is dim because there is no proper electricity here. He is a daydreamer, and he is daydreaming of squirrels playing in a tree room. Daydreaming is that dreaming which is no possibility of fulfilling that. Other than this means other than this dull, dejected, sad atmosphere of the classroom. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's had, cloudless at dawn, civilized domes riding all cities, belled flowery, trailless valley, open-handed map avoiding the world its world. The expression on sour cream walls hints at the ill-maintained infrastructure of the slum school. The sour cream color painted on the walls of the classroom adds to the pale and sad appearance of the area. These depressing walls bear the names of the people who has donated funds to the school. The expression Shakespeare's had is used ironically. In an elementary classroom, in a slum where the value of education is minimal, reference to Shakespeare raises only false hopes. The primary concern of the children here is not to seek the imaginary world drawn out by Shakespeare, but to obtain food to satisfy their hunger. The images of cloudless dawn and civilized domes strongly highlight the monotonous and dull life of the slum. The elementary school in a slum is squeezed, suppressed under the so called civilized high domes. These concrete structures of the cities obstruct their view, making them unaware of the bounties of nature. The expression Baldfravely and Triolus Valley refers to natural beauty of the famous Triolus Valley, which is full of flowers. Here it stands for heavenly splendor. The poet mentions this to draw attention to the fact that slum children passed most of their time raking in garbage and never get a chance to enjoy the beauty of mountains and flowery valleys. The map of the world in the classroom is symbolic of hopes and aspirations for a look as it motivates people to explore the world which has been awarded to us by Almighty God with all its bounties. But the world for the children is limited to their filthy slum only. And yet, for the children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their future is painted with fog, a narrow street, sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. Their world is the world of darkness, where there is no hope and their future is painted with fog only. The children of the slum are extremely weak and poverty stricken, as against the other children who are healthy and enjoy all the comforts and luxuries of life. The life of the slum children is filled with darkness and hopelessness. The future of the children is dark and uncertain, meaning that it cannot be seen. So the poet says that it is painted with fog only. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog till endless night. Shakespeare is referred to as wicked because his skill fails to instill aesthetic value in the extremely poor slum children. Instead, it tempts them to take to stealing in order to possess the perfect world, as here shown in Shakespeare's dramas. The map is a bad example because it shows a world that is beautiful and bright. In contrast, the world for the children is confined to the narrow and dirty streets only. Map is thus a bad example because it confuses them regarding the true picture of the world. The expression ships and sun and love symbolize the joy and brightness of life, which these children are deprived of. In order to reach out of the world beyond, these children are sometimes tempted to adopt wrong ways to get their dreams fulfilled. The lives of the slum children turn and twist in their cramped holes. Cramped holes means narrow holes. Their entire struggle for sustenance goes unnoticed in their small dirty rooms. The expression from fog to endless night describes the miserable and pathetic lives of the children. From foggy morning to late at night, these children make desperate attempts to live despite all troubles. Their life is full of misery, suffering, and dejection. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stalls. All of their time and space are foggy slums, so blot their maps with slums as big as a town. Their slag heaps refers to the hunger-stricken bodies of the slum children, which look just like heaps of garbage. The image of skins peeped through by bones is used to describe the weak and worn out bodies of slum children. The phrase with mended glass means that the glass of the spectacles had cracked and the pieces had been stuck together instead of getting a new glass. This is another sign of their extreme poverty. All of their time and space are foggy slums, so blot their maps with slums as big as domes. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, the map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Like catacombs. The foggy slum comprises the world for these children. The slums are their only reality, their homes, where they spend their whole life. The poet wants to blot the map with the slums in which these children live. He wants to do so because the only world that these children know about is their slum. The world on the actual map is meaningless for these children. The poet sees the foggy, filthy slums as big as doom, because life here is worse than death. The unless governor, the reference to the governor, inspector, visitor implies that elementary schools in the slum exist merely for namesake. They are poor in infrastructure, with hardly any teaching or administrative staff to take care of them. They can spring into life only when a governor, an inspector, or a visitor comes to visit them. The map becomes their window means when the slum children are enabled by the active involvement of the authorities to see the hidden bounties of nature, the open-handed map is their classroom is difficult to comprehend as they have never seen this world. Open-handed map is because that map is drawn only with the desire of rich people. The world of poor people is not shown on that map. The word windows is symbolic of the world beyond the slums. The slum children look expectantly at the beautiful world beyond the confines of the slum. But these views and glimpses are shut upon them as they are deprived of opportunities and means to get them. The slum children are denied the bounties of the world. Their lives are shut up in the cemetery like spaces of these slums where they slither and slog to make their both ends meet. Break, oh break open, till they break the town and show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books the white and green leaves open, history theirs whose language is the sun. The poet wants to bring these children out of their filthy surroundings. He wants them to break the shackles that the slum has put on them so that they can see the outside world. They refer to the poor, emaciated children of the slum. The poet wants these children should be properly educated. There should be no restrictions on them because, according to him, history is written by those people only whose language has the energy and warmth of the sun, who have got proper education, who have raised their voice against the evils of society. And the books white and green means they must be shown the bounties of nature, and white books means they must be provided proper education within classroom also. So here ends the poet. You have to prepare the comprehensions of this poem. Okay.